more volume of petrol was discharged on the second day of product loading from the Dangote Refinery in Lagos as more tankers rolled in. Officials who spoke to Rise News said 93 tankers had been loaded out of the 191 clearance documents known as Authority to Collect. This was issued since the first day. Tokumbo Oyetunji has the details.
It's the first full working day after the symbolic flag off of loading of products from this gantry here at the Dangote Refinery in Lagos. 24 hours after that ceremony, the loading of product has commenced fully, and though it's way after 6 p.m. on Monday, tankers are still coming in to get their products loaded, and just right by my right side here are some of the tankers that have taken their product, been loaded, and they're waiting for the official sealing procedure from where they now move out of this facility to the exit point where they get their way bill and get discharged from here for onward movement to their different destinations.
The head of logistics at the refinery, Kolawole Adio, welcomed our crew here to give us a breakdown of operations in the past 24 hours.
As at yesterday till today, this morning, we have issued 191 ATC, that is Authority to Collect product here, to NNPC. And out of that 191 Authority to Collect ATC, they have lifted 93. And the Authority to Collect ATC that is with them now, as at now, is 98. As you know, it's dynamics. As they clear the trucks, they come in by this security and the safety. Once they clear them, they come in.
It took us through the process of getting a tanker loaded, beginning with the safety procedures at the entrance gates.
You could see when you came in, you saw that at the gates, at the park, the safety people are there, the security people are there. When the rep collects and give their driver, they will check. They will have checklists of things that will check before a truck comes in. So they will check that. After checking and certifying, the safety will sign that this truck is healthy to go in. So the securities confirm, they check everything that they needed to check. Then they allow the truck to come in. Then when he gets here, you could see, he enters, then they load him. By the time they load him, he moves to that place. You could see where they are sealing.
We actually can turn while you point. At,
you could see they are loading.
Yes.
They will just enter here.
Yes.
They will load.
Yes.
You could see that one that was coming the other time, he just coming. He just drive in and load.
Okay.
Drive in and load. So when they finish loading here,
yes,
they will go to that point.
Okay.
And that is the sealing point.
Okay.
That is where they will seal their tank.
Okay.
After sealing their tanks there, they will now go straight to where your cameraman captures something. Yeah, the gate. That is where they collect their way bill.
Okay.
So at that point, when they collect their way bill, security check, and then they exit the gate.
Though a public holiday for the rest of the country, activities went on full swing here, and that is how it will continue to be from now on at the Dangote Refinery, where they don't just see what they do as a business, but an important assignment to supply a very critical chemical energy component to power the nation. Tokumbo Oyetunji, Arise News, Lagos.
Meanwhile, oil marketers yesterday argued that it wasn't normal for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, to sell petrol product locally from the Dangote Refinery to Nigerians at a pump price higher than imported fuel. Coming under the umbrella of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, the oil marketers stressed that it then means that there was no cause for celebration if imported products are cheaper. I think that about makes sense, because it's one of the things we're looking at is if you're if you're buying locally, all the costs around importation and all that is eliminated, then why are we paying higher prices? Your take on this story?
Day two about the confusion, so it goes on. And I got a lot of messages yesterday for people that said, oh, Rufai, we should at least praise the people. We praise Dangote Refinery for its innovation, but we should at least praise NNPC. And I'm saying praise NNPC for what? NNPC had 4 refineries over the years that they've not fixed. They have all the assets that are moribund. They have 1 refinery they said was mechanically complete as of December. Till today, we've not seen anything for that refinery. Is it praise them for over 50 years of inactivity and inefficiency? Is that what we should praise the NNPC for? Keep humoring me. The confusion continues and some people are making a hell out of this confusion. The question is, some questions we need to know. How much then did Dangote Refinery sell to NNPC? NNPC has come out to say 55 cents. I'm sure that's the figure Kevin was quoting yesterday. But Dangote Refinery has come out and said we didn't sell at that rate. So how much? Secondly, what is the production cost of Dangote Refinery? Because if we don't get the production cost, we can extrapolate. Absolutely. Thirdly, confusion continued yesterday. Like Fela sings, confusion, break, bone, yepa, double wahala for dead body. The dead body here is the price of fuel that Nigerians have to pay, $9.50. That went up in the space of a day from 8 something to $9.50. The third point is NNPC now came out with another pricing template yesterday. Was this an adjustment where they put some figures around? So please, we need more clarity. What's the difference between that pricing template and this new pricing template? And now we're not sure they're going to come with another pricing template tomorrow. Availability of crude is the other question. Can't we just get the NNPC to give Dangote Refinery crude and say, refine for us and give it back to us, and we'll pay you the money for the refineries? So why all of this conundrum that is going on here? And the LC that it was said that NNPC opened, did they really get the dollar to pay, or they just opened the LC to be able to procure those products? So the confusion goes on and on and on. And the marketers that are saying that what they are bringing from outside definitely is cheaper, what they're importing is cheaper, is that dirty fuel they're bringing from? Because all these years, we know they've brought in very dirty fuel. Because their quality obviously can't be compared to Dangote. So is it that we want to return to the era of dirty fuel?
All right.
Okay, I think the confusion, the distraction is avoidable, is unnecessary. To the extent that there are a number of issues that we have to deal with. Nigerians must realize that Aliko Dangote, having invested $20 billion to set up a refinery, to go into that space to provide refinery. During Yar'Adua's government, he and Femi Otedola tried to buy refineries to turn them around. They hit the brick wall in that regard. Now he has been given the opportunity to set up a refinery. He has set up that refinery. Dangote Refinery, the last time I checked, is not an NGO. It is a business interested in making profit. NNPC Limited is also in the same market. NNPC Limited is also in that market to make profit, not to do Father Christmas, exploration for Nigerians. So all this talk about Dangote wants to make profit and all that is unintelligent. Number 2 is the point that, look, we used to complain about the refineries of Nigeria, the operations of NNPC Limited, about how it had been overtaken by the mafia. The mafia, obviously, is still very active. Aliko Dangote himself came on air to say, look, he didn't realize how resilient this mafia could be to frustrate his attempt to get into that space. We have not heard from Watersmith and other private refineries like Buhari Refinery trying to get into that space. I'm sure they will also have a lot to say about, the resilience of the mafia, promoting opaqueness and lack of accountability and efficiency in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. The third point is that IPMAN, Independent Petroleum Marketers of Nigeria, have now come forward to say Dangote cannot sell at a rate lower than what the imports coming at. Okay, what is the basis of their argument? What we have been told by NNPC Limited which I keep arguing is not really, it's not a regulator. It's a player in the market. The regulator is actually the Nigerian midstream and downstream petroleum regulatory agency, whose head, Farouk Ahmed, had put his foot in his mouth, and since then he has kept quiet. We need to hear more from the regulator. But they say on October 1, by October 1, there will be negotiations and we'll hear. So it's Ip Man engaged in blackmail. They're talking about, okay, landing costs, this and that. What we know is that, one, the September supply by Dangote Refinery, NNPC Limited, that lifted the crude, paid in foreign currency. Okay, would the October supply be in Naira? Because we were told that the Nigerian government had made an arrangement that crude will be supplied in Naira and lifting will also be in Naira. Does it mean that down the line there will be some improvement in terms of pricing? So the opaqueness that we are always complained about in that oil and gas sector remains. And that is what Nigerians should worry about. And that is why I argue that now that President Tinubu is back in the country, he has been praised deservedly for Dangote Refinery coming on stream on his watch. He has also, Dangote himself has been praised for his patriotism, but we need to work out the details and be sure that those who have faith in this country do not hold the wrong end of the stick. I'm not on the side of Ip Man in this matter. I think that these are blackmailers who have been benefiting. In fact, I said it yesterday off camera, that there's a mafia that is in that oil and gas sector that will resist, as Aliko Dangote himself has argued, any attempt to make improvement. President Tinubu should see this energy crisis, energy supply resolution, foreign exchange resolution as part of the legacy that he can leave behind. He should look the blackmailers in the eye and take, resolute steps to make sure that the Nigerian government, ends these decades of, mafia-style, corruption in the oil and gas sector.
Well, I believe that a lot of things are still going to be unveiled with Dangote Refinery coming on stream, and maybe perhaps you would understand why there was a lot of backlash, especially a lot of resistance, because a number of things will be exposed. Still, the reason why it's a bit difficult to really delve in is because there are still some things that are largely unclear. Yes, it's been established that Dangote Refinery is not a charity organization, and just like any private business, are there to make profit. What is not clear, though, is that we haven't yet still received NNPCL, in the spirit of transparency and to go against the opaqueness they've been accused of for a very long time, have now come out to open up their books to say that, okay, this is a pricing template, this is how much it costs to get fuel from Dangote Refinery and all the additional costs associated with it, and then this is how we're going to arrive at the cost of petrol. But Dangote responded with a press release saying that this wasn't the actual fact, but they haven't also released their own fact. What is their own side of the story? How much did they sell fuel to NNPCL? I think that will then help us as Nigerians begin to make a better decision, or we're able to examine the issue properly. If we know how much fuel was sold to NNPCL, then we can then look at, and then cost of production, we can then look at how much ideally fuel should be sold to Nigerians. One of the things we've talked about a lot of times is that if you're going to inform the people and get the people on your side, you must be willing to be transparent. You must be honest and earn the trust of the people so that when you come out to say that, oh, this is it, and then market forces, just a few weeks back, I talked about how in South Africa, based on global oil prices, they were able to adjust the pump price of petrol. And that's what the reality based on the PIA should do for us in Nigeria, whereby we're able to track when oil prices go up, we know how it would affect, when it goes down, we know how it affects, because everything is clear and transparent. There's no there are no changes in prices along the way or on the journey. So these are some of the things I feel that we still need to uncover or still needs to be uncovered. Dangote owes it, well, at least, I mean, as a private business, to share with us how much was it sold to NNPCL, cost of production, and how much ideally, if you run a factory or a business, we've seen some products where it said that recommended selling price based on all factors being considered. So that would help us better for Nigerians, because for a lot of people, now we've seen that energy security for Nigerians is not just the availability of the product, which Dangote Refinery has hopes to sort out, but also the ability to be able to afford this petrol. Yesterday, I still bought petrol for 898 naira, or a little less than that. So it will begin to see, we'll see how, when these petrol will be available and how much will be sold for. But we still need to find out the truth. We are still uncovering, and I do believe that daily new things will emerge. But this, I believe the era of change has begun. Let's move on to our next story. And this time we look at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's visit to Maiduguri. He visited Borno State after a severe flood killed at least 37 people and rendered over 1 million residents homeless. The president pledged the federal government's commitment to providing aid for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of affected areas. Arise correspondent Sunny Adamu reports.
In the wake of devastating floods that have left a trail of destruction in Maiduguri, President Bola Tinubu has visited the city to sympathize with affected residents in the Borno State capital. During a meeting at the Shehus Palace, he announced the federal government's plan to rehabilitate and rebuild damaged areas, providing a glimpse of hope for displaced communities.
We, as a government, as Nigerian people, will pledge with you that we will help in the rehabilitation and resolution of problems there. It is our problem, not just your problem, not the problem of community alone. We must share in each other's pain, joy, and sorrow. May Allah bless and accept the souls of those who had perhaps. May Allah help us stop the tragedy.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu attributed the devastating floods to the escalating climate change crisis in the region, emphasizing the urgent need for collective action to address its far-reaching consequences. He also took time to interact with victims of the floods.
The situation that we find ourselves in, the environmental problem, climate change, and all of this is what we must tackle differently, and we must educate our people. Please accept our pledge of solidarity and oneness.
My request to you is one, that is to find out the root cause of this flooding and address appropriately so as to avoid future occurrence, as over 80% of this town has been affected by this disaster.
Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has commended the president's visit while urging him to expedite rehabilitation program that will enable the swift resettlement of the affected populations.
Considering the magnitude of the damage we have, as it has been said by His Royal Highness, the Shehu of Borno, we want you to look into the possibility of reconstructing this dam with hydraulic structures, with new hydraulic structures that can handle natural flow of water. Again, on the magnitude of this crisis, we know you have been doing it. Second to this flood crisis, we received 3 billion naira from the federal government for flood intervention. Luckily enough, I couldn't just spend a little, and then we experienced this flooding. We started using this funding in order to alleviate the sufferings, in addition to what has been contributed by people and the government of Borno State. But we still need your support, and we remain extremely grateful.
Residents say the president's visit served as a beacon of hope to the flood-affected communities, offering reassurance that they are not forgotten and that support is on the way. Sani Adamu, Arise News.
All right, so President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has visited, and you see we're just having a very great conversation going down history lane, but talking about the power of the Shehu of Borno, the Kanuri people and all that. But Rufai, your take on this story?
I mean, my condolences to the people of Borno, the great people of Borno. But President Tinubu's visit is quite late, number one. Number two, he went there and he said he was on his way to America. I mean, that was not the right thing to say. At first, you owe those people grieving your first responsibility. In fact, if it were some other country, the president will come back from wherever he is to come and empathize with his people. In fact, that optic of his vice president being there, he was the first person to have been there. And not now tell them that they should, you were going to America before, but you had to come. No. You've been in China all this while. Secondly, he also said something I disagree with in that visit. He said natural causes, climate. No. It's not natural causes, please. There are empirical proof now that has now been done to show that the dam was already bad. There were complaints made about it, nothing was. In fact, even 5 days before the incident, the Borno State government sent a high-power delegation, and the SSG, if I'm quoting correctly, correct me please if I'm wrong, was said to have said there's no cause for alarm. So they knew that the dam was already gone. Let me tell you how disastrous things were. The dam was long gone. The dam now destroyed the dike. There's a dike with every dam. That's another wall of defense from the water for coming out. The dam was already bad and gone. The dam now led to the destruction of the dike. So that's multiple generation for a same dam that there's been government allocation going for. President Tinubu, what you should do, I praise you for setting up a relief fund for them, which is good, which has a heart of empathy. But what you also do is that you set up a panel of inquiry of those that were supposed to appropriate money from the dam, what was done as regards the dam, who were those that took the money. That's what we should look at now. And secondly, over 40 billion of ecological funds, how are this money being spent? This is the time we should get to the end of this and bring all the culprits to book. It wasn't natural disaster. It was gross negligence.
All right, okay. Gross negligence, natural disaster.
Okay, I think I wrote an extended piece on this today at the back page of This Day Live, where I addressed the key issues in this matter. Number one, I don't think it is, proper for President Tinubu to go to Maiduguri to go and tell the people, oh, I was on my way to America, and I decided to just come home to come and sympathize with you people in Maiduguri. That was too much information. There's something called too much information. We all know that UNGA, the United Nations General Assembly, always holds in September of every year. Now, that United Nations General Assembly, the general debate session is not going to start until 24th September, till the end of September. So President Tinubu did not need to throw that into the conversation. Number two, he said he's setting up a relief fund in collaboration with the private sector. I think that is a good idea at the level of showing empathy. He visited the internally displaced persons camp. I think that is also good. Before him, the vice president was there. We saw his image, inside the waters, identifying with the people and empathizing with them. We saw the Nigerian army also identifying with the people. I think all of that is good optics. Number three is the point that the president was making about, oh, this is a natural disaster. It's not a natural disaster. I've pointed out that, look, we saw one report at first that said 171 million naira had been used to rehabilitate the dam, the Alau Dam that broke its embankments. What happened? As recently as July 2024, 26 million was even provided. What did they do with the money? Now, yesterday, Daily Trust, on the front page and at page 4, pointed out that, in fact, they have evidence that over 400 million naira was allocated to the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to take care of that dam, to prevent this situation. In other words, the over 30 persons that died, the over 259 persons that had issues, the animals that died, the breakage that occurred, the over 10,000 people that are in internally displaced persons camp, Nigeria did not have to happen to them. So President Tinubu should go a step further and order an investigation. What did they do with the money that was allocated? What is happening at the River Chad Basin Development Authority? And I've made the point that the Nigerian Hydrological Agency has also told us in an outlook for flooding in 2024 that there will be flooding in 31 states of Nigeria. This is how we will fold our hands, and there will be flooding from Lagdo Dam, from Oyon Dam, from other dams, and then people will come and say, oh, it is climate change. It is an act of God. No, the president should order an immediate investigation. There are other issues that I've identified that President Tinubu must pay attention to, because he says he's going to America. Can somebody represent him there? Because some people are already threatening that they will launch another protest on October 1. Should he travel when some people are threatening to burn down the roof? So these are some of the issues that I think are related to this particular subject. But the president going there, I think is good optics. The vice president going there, I think is good optics. The president making promises, I think it is good optics. The president saying it is climate action, no, he's wrong. He should do his job.
All right, Dr. Bati, I mean, just the way you present it, and I was smiling at some points, but it's not a laughing matter at all. It's a very serious issue. And a few things that need to be said, which is true. Yesterday, I made myself very clear with my stance on the president's trip at a time when the country is suffering. I think it would be a show of strength of leadership if he sends word to UNGA, because I mean, UNGA is very important. It's good for foreign relations, for him to attend, events and assemblies and meetings like that. It's good also to attract foreign investment, for him to go to FOCAC and China and all that. But when your people are suffering, it's not a good time to begin to move around. Yesterday we were talking about the fact that he's going to be in Samoa, he's going to be here and there, when the nation is not standing properly. How many parents would leave their children back when they're ill or they're sick or something is going wrong with them? And so, in the interest of Nigerians, can the president remain and fix things? Hold consistent FEC meetings, meet with his ministers, address issues that have been pending because he's not around to really dissect them. But beyond that, let me talk about the subnational at this point. Professor Zulum, I went to Borno State, and I've talked about that a number of times because it was quite a trip for me. It was very eye-opening. And one of the things you would notice is that the people actually did love their governor. They felt that he had managed them coming out of, banditry, terrorism, and trying to rehabilitate the state and the people. But I dare say that the handling and the management of this particular disaster could very well mar or push him up as a great leader. We've talked about the fact that we don't need more disaster relief funds. Yes, it's a great initiative, but incompetence and mismanagement costs money. Money that should be used to build the people will be used to continue to fix issues and respond to issues that could have been prevented. And that's the challenge. And so this is a call for not just the president, but the governor himself. Let there be an investigation. Let heads roll for once in Nigeria for people who are responsible for the lives of Nigerians being displaced in this manner. So a number of things there to be said, but hopefully we'll continue that when newspaper review comes up with Adefemi Akinsoye.